Most carry-on packing videos tell you what to bring. This one tells you what to leave behind and why it matters more than most travelers realize. TSA confiscates millions of items every single year, and a surprising number of those items belong to experienced travelers who packed with the best of intentions. Not people who were careless, people who simply didn't know the rules had changed, or that what worked 5 years ago quietly doesn't work today. For travelers over 55, the stakes are higher. A confiscated item at security doesn't just cost you money. It costs time, energy, and sometimes the very beginning of a trip you spent months planning. So here are 10 things you should never pack in your carry-on in 2026, and what to do instead. Number 10. Gift-wrapped packages. This one surprises people every time because it sounds like a thoughtful idea. You're heading to visit family or friends. You wrap a gift, place it in your carry-on, and you think nothing of it. But TSA agents cannot see through wrapping. When something looks unusual on the scanner, they have one option: unwrap it. That means the gift you carefully packaged gets opened at the security belt, often under pressure, often without much care. For older travelers who've put real effort into wrapping something meaningful, this can feel like more than an inconvenience. It can quietly throw off the start of a trip. What to do instead? Ship gifts ahead of time or carry them unwrapped and wrap them at your destination. A gift bag with tissue paper is the easiest solution. It looks intentional, travels well, and TSA can check it in seconds. And if that felt like a small issue, the next item can create a much longer delay, especially when you're already tired from the travel day. Number 9. Full-size hairspray, dry shampoo, or any aerosol toiletry. The 3.4-ounce liquid rule is widely known, but a lot of travelers don't realize that aerosols fall under the same rule, and standard cans of hairspray or dry shampoo are almost always over the limit. What happens is simple. The item gets spotted at the scanner, flagged for size, and removed. If you're not paying close attention, that can add 5 to 10 minutes to your security experience, longer if the lane is busy. For older travelers who've already been standing and walking through the terminal, that extra delay isn't just frustrating. It adds to the physical fatigue that builds up on a long travel day before you've even reached the gate. What to do instead? Switch to solid alternatives. Solid shampoo bars, conditioner bars, and dry shampoo sticks are widely available now and work just as well. They're not subject to liquid rules at all. Alternatively, check the ounce count on your aerosol before packing. Anything at or under 3.4 ounces is fine. The next item is one that many older travelers carry for very good reason. But the way it's packed is what creates the problem. Number 8. Prescription medications outside of their original bottles. A lot of travelers, especially older adults managing multiple medications, consolidate pills into a single container or a weekly pill organizer to save space. It makes complete sense for daily use at home. At airport security, it can create real complications. TSA agents are permitted to inspect medications. When pills are not in their original labeled bottles, especially if they're mixed together, it can raise questions that slow things down considerably. In some cases, it leads to secondary screening. For older travelers who depend on their medications and have carefully managed their doses, this is an avoidable stress on a day that shouldn't have any. What to do instead? Bring medications in their original prescription bottles whenever possible. If you prefer using a pill organizer for the trip, also pack a printed list from your pharmacy with your name, medication names, and dosage information. For controlled substances, a brief doctor's note is worth the extra step. And while most people know to watch their medications, the next item surprises even careful packers. Number 7. Supplement or protein powders in unlabeled bags or containers. This has become more common in recent years. Travelers pack vitamins, protein powder, or greens supplements into small zip bags to save space. It looks convenient. At security, it looks like something that needs a closer look. TSA may test unidentified powders, particularly those over 12 ounces. Even small amounts in unlabeled bags can prompt questions. The inspection process takes time, and it can involve your bag being set aside while other passengers move through. For older travelers who pack supplements as part of a regular health routine, this is easy to avoid, but only if you know to plan for it before travel day. What to do instead? Keep powders in their original labeled containers. If that's too bulky, transfer them into clearly labeled small containers with the product name visible. Pre-portioned supplement packets now exist for most major products and travel without any issues at all. The next item is one many experienced travelers assume they know the rules on. But the rules have shifted in ways that catch people off guard. Number 6. Power banks that exceed the watt-hour limit or aren't declared correctly. Portable chargers are one of the most useful items for older travelers. Phones, tablets, hearing aids, CPAP backup devices. A power bank solves all of that on a long flight. But they also come with specific rules that most travelers never check. TSA requires lithium-ion batteries over 100 watt-hours to be declared to the airline. Banks over 160 watt-hours are not permitted in carry-on at all. And loose lithium batteries should never go in checked luggage where they pose a fire risk. The issue is that most power banks don't display their watt-hour rating in a way that's easy to find. A bank labeled 20,000 milliampere hours sounds like a capacity number, not a regulation. But it may or may not exceed the limit depending on voltage. What to do instead? Before you pack, find the watt-hour rating printed on the device itself. It's usually listed as watt-hours. Keep it under 100 watt-hours for no complications at all. Carry it in your personal bag, not checked luggage. That one was technical. The next mistake is much simpler, and it slows down more security lines than almost anything else on this list. Number 5. Spreadable or gel consistency foods, including things that don't look like liquids. Peanut butter, honey, jam, hummus, yogurt, salad dressing. These all fall under the TSA liquid rule because their consistency is close enough to a gel to be classified the same way. This catches older travelers off guard constantly, especially those who pack food from home for comfort or who bring small food gifts to family. A jar of homemade jam, a container of your favorite nut butter for the flight. Both will be confiscated if they're over 3.4 ounces, and at that point, there's no getting them back. What to do instead? Transfer spreads and gel consistency foods into 3.4-ounce or smaller containers and place them in your liquids bag. Or pack them in checked luggage where full-size jars are allowed. Solid foods, crackers, granola bars, nuts, whole fruit, travel with no restrictions at all. And if that felt unexpected, the next item is even more surprising because it looks completely harmless. Number 4. Snow globes, souvenir bottles, and decorative liquid items. A snow globe picked up at a gift shop looks like a solid object, but it contains liquid, and that liquid is almost always more than 3.4 ounces. TSA confiscates them regularly, with no exceptions for decorative items. The same applies to souvenir olive oils, flavored vinegars, small bottles of local honey or spirits, and anything purchased outside the airport's secure area. The rule applies regardless of what the liquid is or how beautifully it's packaged. For older travelers who love bringing home something meaningful from a destination, losing it at the security belt is a real disappointment, and a completely avoidable one. What to do instead? Snow globes and liquid souvenirs belong in checked luggage only. If you don't have a checked bag, ship them ahead or purchase them after passing through security. Anything bought past the checkpoint, including duty-free liquids, is allowed on board. The next item is one that many older travelers carry for medical reasons. But how it's packed makes all the difference. Number 3. Gel ice packs or soft-sided coolers used to keep medications cold. A lot of older travelers use insulin, biologics, or other temperature-sensitive medications that need refrigeration during travel. Gel ice packs seem like the obvious solution, but there's a rule most people have never heard. TSA allows gel ice packs in carry-on bags, but only if they are completely frozen solid at the point of screening. A partially melted gel pack is treated as a liquid and will be removed. This catches travelers who froze their packs overnight but then waited too long at check-in or in a warm security line. For travelers managing medications that require consistent temperature, this is more than an inconvenience. It can become a medical concern. What to do instead? Use hard-sided ice packs, which hold cold longer and are far more likely to stay solid through security. You can also contact your airline in advance. Most will accommodate medical refrigeration needs with documentation from your doctor. TSA's website also has a medical traveler program that can simplify the screening process significantly for those with ongoing health needs. Now we're into the final stretch. The last 2 items cause the most delays and the most frustration. Number 2. Multi-tools, Swiss Army knives, and folding tools of any kind. This seems obvious until you account for how easy it is to forget. A multi-tool that lives in a travel bag, a small Swiss Army knife carried for years, a pocket tool used at home that simply got packed out of habit, sitting in an outer compartment that never gets fully emptied. TSA's rule is straightforward. Blades of any length are not allowed in carry-on bags. No exceptions for small sizes. No exceptions for tools that are primarily non-blade items. If the tool has a blade, it goes in checked luggage or it gets confiscated. For older travelers who've carried a pocket knife their whole lives and think of it as a practical tool rather than anything else, this is an easy mistake to make and a frustrating one to discover at the security belt. What to do instead? Do a deliberate pocket and bag check the night before you travel. Not a quick glance, a real check of every jacket pocket, every outer compartment, every small zipper. Multi-tools belong in checked luggage or left at home for the duration of the trip. And the final item on this list is not about any specific object. It is about something most travelers never think to audit. Number 1. Oversized liquids sitting in a toiletry bag that hasn't been properly checked in years. This is the most common carry-on confiscation at TSA, year after year. Not unusual items, not exotic choices. A full-size shampoo bottle, a larger-than-needed mouthwash, a sunscreen that's 5 ounces instead of 3.4. Items that were fine for checked luggage and somehow migrated into the carry-on, or items that were compliant once but replaced without checking the new size. The toiletry bag that worked fine last year may not work fine today. Products get replaced, containers get swapped, sizes change. But the bag itself stays the same, and it rarely gets fully audited. For older travelers who've been doing this for years, this is the mistake that catches even the most experienced packers off guard. Because experience can create a confidence that everything is already in order. And sometimes it isn't. What to do instead? Before every trip, empty your toiletry bag completely. Check every item against the 3.4-ounce rule. Replace full-size products with travel-size versions, or transfer what you need into reusable 3-ounce containers. Then, repack intentionally. It takes 10 minutes and eliminates the most predictable carry-on problem at security. All 10 of these mistakes are avoidable, and that's exactly the point. The goal is not to arrive at the airport with less. It is to arrive prepared, so that the first part of your trip runs the way you planned, and you still have energy left when you reach the gate. For older travelers, a good travel day is not just about getting there. It is about getting there without spending energy on problems that didn't need to happen. If you found this useful, subscribe for more practical travel advice made specifically for travelers over 55. And if you want to know what actually belongs in your carry-on, the items that make flying easier, not harder, that video is coming next. Safe travels!